7 hits on the year, as you just saw. Called strike 3. All kinds of emotion.
Welcome back to Draft Week. As we look at the some of the top guys from New Jersey headed for the MLB Draft in next week, starting Sunday the 17th. We've got Connor Staine here, UCF, West Morris Central, 2019 grad, so certainly plenty of bona fide New Jersey. Odds-on top player from Jersey to be selected in the draft coming up. Whether that's day 1 or day 2, we'll find out. But most importantly, thanks for stopping by, Connor, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be back on again.
Always good to have you. You're back in Jersey now until the draft, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you're, obviously when we talked in the winter, we talked a lot about the potential of this happening. And certainly your spot and certainly all the eye-opening that happened in the fall and coming closer to realizing the potential that you kind of shown all along. Really the big day for you when you went from, at least in the eyes of everybody watching, to that potential to, damn, this is reality. This is going to be a big thing on draft day. Early March 5th, first Saturday of the month. Non-league game, you face Ole Miss, ends up winning the College World Series, 7 innings, 11 Ks, 2 hits, 1 walk, and all of a sudden Connor Staine is a possible first-round pick. And all these things we talk about are real. We joke about, okay, that's the day that changed your life. But really, I mean, that kind of was.
Yeah, no, it was obviously it was an incredible game. I'll give credit to Ole Miss where credit's due. They had a rough year in regards to the middle half of the season, but they pulled it out. I mean, they were the 64th team into the College World Series, and they ended up winning it. I don't really know if that's ever happened before. But yeah, when we were playing them, their guy wasn't anything impressive from a pitch repertoire perspective, but he just pounded the zone and let us put the ball in play. And sure enough, it was a pitcher's duel for 12 innings, and then sure enough, we get that hit from Riley Wash and we end up winning that game in a walk-off fashion. But, for me, it was more so that was the biggest stage I've been on in my entire life. I've never faced a number 2 team in the country at that point. And really, I'd never faced a ranked team at that point in my career. So coming in against them, I think we had like 7,000 fans or something like that at the game. Just completely packed by the time I'm getting out there to warm up, adrenaline's pumping, hearts racing because we just had a tight one the night before. And then I get out there and, I'm talking to some of my buddies after the first inning, and I'm not even talking. I don't really talk during that stuff, but they're like, hey man, like you just hit 98, like you threw a bunch of 97s, like you amped up. I'm just like I'm just burning the boats, dude. Like I gotta do everything I can to beat them. Like every pitch is 100%. And, sure enough, like the 7 innings came and went. And, it was definitely an electric environment. I mean, you could just feel like every time you got a strikeout or every time you closed an inning off with another score, 1, 2, 3 inning, like you could hear the crowd going crazy. The floor is rumbling. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and you're putting up, like you said, hitting 97, 98 the first inning. And then all of a sudden, right, that's when you kind of shot up the draft chart to that possible first day pick. That month of March, I think, right, you were the longest in the country before giving up an earned run, if I remember, into like the 30s of innings or something like that. The attention sort of changed, I guess, at that point, too, from the outside. How were you able to kind of block that out when you needed to and focus on what was ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the longest streaks, I think, in like the last 20 years. I know UCF's streak was 39, but my first earned runs came at my first and only earned runs of the season came off of when I was injured. So from ECU on, I was injured. But it is what it is. I mean, honestly, the way I kind of just combated it was just literally batter to batter. I don't play the pitch to pitch game. I think that's a little bit too in depth and almost diabolical in a way. You're kind of playing with yourself. But batter to batter worked for me. So, every game I'd go, I wouldn't tell myself I'm pitching 7 innings. I'd tell myself, one batter at a time. And that was just how I played it. I'd get one done. There would be that success kind of reward for myself. And then I'd go into the next batter with the same mindset. But on top of that, it really was just, me. We've known each other for quite a long time. I personally do believe that I am one of the best pitchers in the world because, we talk about country, but this is how it is. It's like you call the best college kids in the country the best college kids in the world. So I think I'm up there, and that's just how I played the game. Like I go up against a kid if I'm facing Gonzalez from Ole Miss, who is a projected first rounder next year. Well, my opinion is that I am a better first rounder than him, and that's how I played it in those games, and that's just how I carried myself. And that just ended up working out, fortunately. And then, sure enough, like we all know, injuries stop a lot of good things and put them to a halt. So that's just how the dice rolled.
Now you should be ready to go, right? I mean, it wasn't certainly arm or shoulder injuries. It was kind of hurt yourself covering first on a little PFP action, and then some blister problems, right? So these are things that should be cleared up by the draft, and time to hit the ground running 100%, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had the couple of those minor injuries. Those were maybe a week at a time, and not even like I didn't even miss a start for those. Obviously, I did the start that I was injured, but like I was back the following week. The finger, my trainer just he didn't have a firm understanding on what to do with blisters, and it just prolonged this. But I'm taking the right precautionary measures to keep it healthy. So the plan between myself, my advisor, the teams we talked to is that by the time the draft's over, I sign with them. 2 weeks post signing, you kind of head out to the instructs at wherever their facility is. I should be good to go by then, 100%. And like you said, just hit the ground running. So in the next following couple of days, I'll be getting back onto a throwing program so that my arm's ready to go, but still giving my finger some rest.
We'll be getting the total arm care video soon.
I'm sure. My buddy Griffin, he's home, so I'm sure he'll make another one. And worst comes to worst, Drown will take a shot at doing some edits.
Yeah, we got to work on Tom's videography skills a little bit. Great pitching coach, but not the best videographer, right?
100%.
Yep, that's Tom Drown for everybody who doesn't know out there. Total Arm Care. We've talked about them and the great stuff that they do for pitchers, and Connor certainly being a product of there. This has been a dream of yours since you were a little Connor, which I can't imagine you ever being that little. But we're when this airs, less than a week away from that becoming a reality. What's the feeling like in your head as this draws closer?
It's surreal, that's for sure. I mean, like I said, like it's my screensaver still. Let's see if I got no one on there. So it's hard to read, but it says I will be a first rounder in the 2022 MLB Draft. It's gonna help you. It's not gonna be easy, stuff like that. That's been my lock screen for years. So, it not being a first round, most likely, it could be, it could not. It's a little bit of a dagger, but it's still an incredible feeling. It, like you said, it is a dream. That's been a dream since I was in kindergarten. But it's pretty cool. I mean, I got buddies from UCF who are going to the draft as well. Guys from Maryland, Max Martin, he's going to be in it as well. We caught up a little bit at the combine. First time we got to really talk in person, but we're both with Jeff, so gives us a common middle ground to talk to one another. But for me personally, it's surreal from the whole having Tourette syndrome and there only being two guys really to do it in the pros. How far I'd come from being in a situation my freshman year at Maryland to being the ace my junior year at a school that, quite honestly, if we didn't have as many injuries, probably would have been a serious contender in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of, unfortunately, college has come to an end. I don't get to enjoy that environment, but this opens a whole new door of opportunity to take that next step closer to being an MLB baseball player rather than just, being a dream of mine.
Yep, yep. Now you mentioned obviously the most notable person with Tourette's that played in the majors, Jim Eisenreich, for years, and with the Phillies, obviously most notably. You said in the past that your goal is to certainly raise awareness, whether it's through and you talked about wanting to do some sort of foundation. As your platform increases, I guess those plans sort of increase as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I have a sweatshirt on, so I can't show it, but I have the Relentless tattoo on inside my left bicep, and the TNDS being in teal. I want to build a brand off of that. Shirts, baseball apparel, all those things. But you can basically customize the TNDS to a different color. You could do like basically the different color puzzle for autism. You could do pink for breast cancer. Anything to basically spread awareness to what you want. And Relentless is just supposed to be the motto that you're relentless in your pursuit to success and pursuit to happiness, and whatever it takes to be happy, no matter what you're dealing with, you can accomplish it. Whatever goals you have set, you can accomplish it. So that's going to probably go hand in hand with a Tourette Syndrome Foundation and fundraiser that myself and Jeff will help coordinate, along with my dad, because I know he's very big into this as well. So I'm sure that's going to, like you said, as I kind of work my way through the minors and hopefully get into the major league status, that'll carry more weight. It'll start hitting the ground running. And hopefully that can become something really big, because I do personally believe not only is Tourette syndrome not really well known for most people, but it's great if you can find something that can spread awareness to every other disability and illness and disorder rather than it just being one. So I think that'll be really awesome.
Definitely. What was your favorite team growing up?
I mean, it has to be the Yankees. I've grown,
because we know it's about to be whoever calls your name is going to become your favorite team. But
yeah, no doubt. It has to be.
But just curious, growing up, who your favorite was?
Yeah, I mean, like it hopscotches. Like when you're a little kid, you like the Yankees because they're the best team ever. As I got older, I kind of liked more players on the Rays. They got guys I really look up to and admire, like Glasnow, Shane Baz. Shane McClanahan went to USF, so I can't say I look up to him, but he's an incredible arm. So the Rays have been a big one, especially kind of in the past couple of years. And then, I don't like the Red Sox because they're opposed to the Yankees, but I enjoyed going to Red Sox games. I mean, their fans are some of the craziest people I've ever met in my entire life. So, I've hopscotched around, a little bit.
One last before we go, you mentioned the combine. Your takeaways and most memorable experiences from the draft combine.
Yeah, and the takeaways are that there's a lot of good competition out there. I saw something the other day that had me in the top 26 arms in the country / world, however you want to phrase those things. But I went out there and I'm watching these kids pitch, and sure enough, I'm still injured. So, I can only get up to a 5 or something like that. But there's kids in JUCO, Mizorowski, flying up the draft boards, throwing 100 every pitch. His changeup's 93, 95. So the takeaway really is there's a lot of incredible talent out there. And that if you want to be that guy, not at the, the draft level and minor league level, you want to be at the professional level, MLB, like there's no days off. Like you're working every day. If you're taking time off, it's another chance for the other guys to get better. So as much as it was an incredible time, that was that, another one of those parts in your life where like, this is an eye opener. Like I know I'm good and I'm really good, but there's kids who are just as good who I got to beat out in one way, shape, or form. And I think the coolest moment, we only got 3 minutes on the mound. It's just, it's structured by television because everything was on MLB Network.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty incredible. You're warming up in the bullpen at Petco Park. You're looking out there. There's 2,000 kids screaming, losing their mind. Then you get out on the mound and it's just you and 60 scouts and a bunch of other really good baseball players watching you. So it was pretty surreal. And, hopefully that won't be the last time I'm ever pitching on an MLB mound.
Or at Petco, right? Hopefully that could change pretty soon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Well, let's hope. You know, I don't like waiting a long time. I know you probably don't. So let's hope we hear that Sunday night rather than having to wait till Monday. But like I said, you know, late first day, early second, the next chapter is about to begin, and we couldn't be more excited for you, Connor. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Always fun coming back talking to a Sandlot legend.
That's right. Oh no, you're the Sandlot legend. I'm just the old guy that ran it. Called
Give me
off
the
games
opportunity.
too early. That's another episode.
Yeah, yeah.
We appreciate it. Connor Staine, our special guest. As we said, odds on first NJ guy to be drafted coming up next week, and we will certainly keep an eye on that and look forward to catching everybody the rest of the week as we preview the MLB draft.